This is Everybody Pulls the Tarp with your host, Andrew Moses. Each week, Andrew talks with Olympians, pro athletes, TV stars, Grammy winners, best-selling authors, CEOs, and other high performers to uncover their success secrets.
My guest is Washington Commanders running back Austin Ekeler.
Every day we write a page of our life. The best thing is you have the pen in your hand.
Three-time Olympic gold medalist Tessa Virtue. Welcome back to Everybody Pulls the Tarp.
Thanks for thinking of me, and I'm a big fan of the podcast and of yours. So anytime you text or call, I'm here.
Mike Mills from REM.
The key to that was realizing at some point fairly early on that this was probably our life's work.
Every conversation is jam-packed with inspiration and actionable ideas.
My guest is 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year, Stephanie White.
The hardest thing for a coach is trying to prioritize how much time you put in one area or another.
Former MLB player, coach, and manager Clint Hurdle.
That is the best title of any podcast out there in America, and the content matches up to it. Andrew, you do a fantastic job. I'm a big fan. Keep up the great work.
World-renowned organizing expert Shira Gill.
You can improve your life simply by removing things.
Get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at the techniques, processes, and mindsets powering the world's most successful people.
Let's go. Hi, friends, and welcome to a new season of Everybody Pulls the Tarp. It is always great to be back sharing new episodes with you after that short hiatus in between seasons. This week's episode has something for everyone, but I think you will find it especially impactful if you are currently, or will soon be, navigating a new role, phase, or experience in your own life. That's because my guest is Southern Methodist University women's basketball head coach Adia Barnes. And Adia and I recorded the conversation you are about to hear back in July, which at the time was just about 3 months into her time at SMU. Adia shared a behind-the-scenes look at the transition into her new job and everything she's doing to set herself and the SMU program up for success. She is bringing a ton of experience with her to SMU. Prior to SMU, Adia spent 9 seasons as the head coach of the women's basketball team at her alma mater, University of Arizona. In Arizona, she led the team to 6 consecutive postseason appearances and reached the national championship game in 2021. And prior to coaching, Adia played professionally in the WNBA and across the globe, and won the WNBA championship with the Seattle Storm in 2004. She's also spent many years in broadcasting and is extremely active in the community through her Adia Barnes Foundation. In our conversation, we explore her career and many of the mindsets, ideas, and philosophies that have powered her success. This episode is filled with actionable ideas on turning adversity into growth, finding new ways to improve each and every year, what to do when you feel stuck in a particular situation, and so much more. I hope you take away as much from this conversation as I have. And as always, I love to hear your favorite takeaways from the conversations I have each week with the world's top performers. So reach out on Instagram at AndrewMoses123 or find me on LinkedIn and tell me what you think. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. So, let's pull the tarp and get straight to Adia Barnes. I'm always curious to ask coaches kind of in this really, really cool period in between programs when you leave one and you're building another. What have the past few months been like? Take me behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're going to witness a little bit here when you hear all the construction. You know, it's funny you said 3 months. It feels like it's been longer, but it's gone by. So it's like drinking out of a fire hose. So the first thing is taking it during, like when the portal first opened. So, the portal for us is like the Wild West. It's chaotic. And then like taking it at that time, hitting the portal, living in Tucson. I'm a mom, so I have 2 little kids. Changing schools, all of that in the last 3 months, it's been a lot. But I've been here officially, like moved in here, relocated for like 5 weeks.
And you brought almost your entire, if not your entire staff from Arizona. What is that like? How hard is that, as the leader to help a group transition? I mean, on one hand, you have the knowledge and working history of being together as a group, but you're putting everybody into a new situation. What's that been like as a leader to almost transport your coaching staff into a new environment?
For me, it was easy because I think as a head coach, you feel responsibility. When there's change, it happens fast. So you never want to leave people you care about. You just don't want to leave people because everybody's pretty much they're tied to the head coach. And I really liked, if I didn't like people, you would have saw a lot of people left. But I really liked our group. I thought we had great chemistry. I had the right people that were all aligned. So I just said, hey, let's go. And everybody was like, this is a way better situation. I'm not talking about like basketball, sports. I'm talking about lifestyle, quality of life, just all of those things, logistics, airports, all of those things. So no one even like thought about it for a second. They're like, hey, Evan, like they looked up Dallas, looked up SMU, and they were on the first thing smoking with me.
They said, heck yeah, we're in. So you had a few players that you brought along with you as well, but you mentioned the portal. You've added a lot of new players via the portal. I am curious, and this is a question that I'll ask coaches a lot. In addition to obviously being a great basketball player and having talent to deploy on the floor, what types of things are you looking for with players in the portal to really understand how they're going to fit with your program and what you want to do?
Well, for me, the first thing, it happens very fast. It's different. With recruiting now, it's no longer relational, it's transitional, like transactional. So before, I'm like a relationship person, and now it's fast. Before, it's like you recruit them since 8th grade, their family, grandma, grandpa, sisters, cousins, like all those people. Now it's like you can have 4 days or a week in the portal, a couple phone calls, and it's all about money. So that was a transition. But for me, moving here, building something that hadn't been that successful and wanting to build something really special here, it was the balance of bringing the right pieces that are good, but really good people, really good players from Texas, because Texas is big on you need to recruit Texas and you need to have Texas ties. So that was the first thing, like the right people, maybe not the superstars at first, but the right people that build it, that want to do it, and just a little bit more experience. We were very young the last couple of years at Arizona, and it was very difficult. And then me bringing my 3 players was easy. They wanted to come. And remember, I signed 15 players, but I'd say 13 of the 15 had never seen SMU. And they just knew me, had some kind of connection to me, and was like, hey, we want to ride with you. This seems like a great opportunity, a great league. And so it was easy. And then our players had committed before they even went to campus.
It looks to me from afar that there's this extraordinary alignment between you, new athletic director Damon Evans, the SMU University president, and it just, people often, I think, discount how important that is in the success of an athletic program and a particular team. Talk about that. Like, how did you recognize, I know with Damon, you've mentioned in the past that you've watched from afar, you admired his work at Maryland and prior stops, his commitment to women's sports in particular. What else was it about Damon and about the university president that gave you the sense that you're going to have that alignment that is so important?
Well, I'm telling you right now, it is the most important thing for a women's basketball coach. People can say it's not, and they're not telling the truth. But if you really dive deep and ask, just totally piece someone to be authentic, it's the most important thing because of the way college athletics is today. It is all predicated on how much support you have, because monetarily, there is not one program in the country on the women's side that is going to make enough money to sustain what they spend. They're just not. That's a fact. So it becomes more important now because the president and the AD have to have a vision and they have to want to invest in women's basketball. And it's not going to be a positive investment. So a business investment, you want to make money off your investment. Yes, you can make money, but it's not going to break even. And you're not going to be in the plus, no team in the country on the women's side. So then it becomes a conscious decision. What do you want to support? How much do you want to support it? But there are more reasons than monetary reasons to support women's basketball. It's one of the biggest sports for women. Right now, globally, I'm talking about. It is in the driver's seat with that. And it's about community. There's so many more important things that ties. And it's the best sport to support as far as you can make money. We made in Arizona over $1 million in ticket sales. When I got there, we made nothing. We made like $30,000. So you can make some money, but it's not going to be even. So it becomes, does your president have a vision and believe? And Jay Hartzell has always been a huge sport fan and supporter, and he loves women's basketball, him and his wife. And he's a dynamic, amazing president that I heard so much stuff about from people that worked at Texas. And then Damon, I watched him from afar. He was amazing with Brenda Frese as a Hall of Fame coach. He always supported, he gave resources, but it's not always only about resources. You can give the money and still not support. But at games, and I used to watch, I saw him at our game. We played in the tournament at Maryland. So, and I just heard a lot of people that worked for him that loved him. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't have came here if it wasn't for President Hartzell and if it wasn't for Damon Evans. I would not have came to SMU.
I'm curious to ask you more about what you just said there. That so often people think of investment and commitment as just the monetary, the fiscal investment. Right. And obviously that's important, especially in the era and climate that we're in right now with college sports. But you talked about kind of seeing Damon at the games, the way he interacted with the program. What are some of the other indicators for you of non-monetary, non-fiscal type support that's so important?
I think just talking about the program, growing it, going out of the community, getting people to support it, all of those things are more valuable a lot of times than money. Like you saying, hey, we're going to build this program. We care. If you're an AD and you're saying, we care about women's basketball, we want to be good, people listen. And people fall, oh, let me go try a game. And then once you try a game, you get hooked. At Arizona, it happened all the time. Greg Byrne hired me. He's now the Alabama AD. He supported us. He was all about us. And then Dave Hickey was also a big supporter. He's front and President Robbins, who was an amazing president who was at Arizona, was front and center in all my games. And it's like, you don't have to, but when they see that, people want to do it. It becomes contagious and it just helps grow it. And so when you talk about monetary, it's facilities, it's introducing you to the key people. It is being there, getting other people to come, getting people to try it, getting people excited about it. All of those things matter more than money because that leads to monetary things later, right?
Of course. It all works together. It all compounds. Yeah. You painted a great picture there. Coach, I'm curious. You obviously had a storied career as a player, first at Arizona and then in the WNBA. You won a WNBA championship with the Seattle Storm in 2004, played professionally for 12 seasons, named to the Storm's all-decade team. You had overseas career stops in the Ukraine, Israel, Turkey, Russia, Italy. You also have spent some time doing broadcasting and color commentary work. I am curious, was coaching something that you always felt called to do after your playing career was over?
No, because I think when you're and I'm a forward thinker, but when you're like playing basketball and that's all you've done for so long, when you get to the end of your career, you're like, okay, what are my skills? Well, you don't really know what your skills are because you haven't done a lot of other things. Where I was fortunate, knew a lot of NBA guys years ago, had a foundation. I was a little bit more well-rounded in that area. So I was always like, okay, so that's how I got in the broadcast. I was like, oh, let me try. I like talking to people. I like that stuff. And I liked it, but didn't love it. Super subjective. You don't feel part of the team. You kind of go in and out. I was like, I like that team atmosphere. So I kind of fell on coaching. I was like, let me try it. I knew I wanted my base to be Seattle because I'd been there for 10 years. Even after I was cut from the WNBA, I still played in Europe and I broadcasted in the summers with like Super and all my best friends on the team. So I traveled with them. I was living my best life. It was like the perfect job. And then you just get to a point where like, what do I want to do? You want to touch basketball, but you don't know. Then Kevin McGuff he's the current Ohio State coach. He got the job at Washington. And then he called me and I did not ask the salary. I had just retired from a 12-year career. I just bought a house in Seattle. I was going to stay there, run my foundation, do some TV and kind of just figure what I wanted to do. And I was like, oh, I'll try coaching. So he still let me broadcast on the side and I tried it and I fell in love. I fell in love with the one-on-one like growth of the players, teaching basketball, like talking about why I did those things. My career path, I was never good. I was actually not that good at all, but I was really focused. I was the hardest worker and I was a really good teammate. I felt like, I wish I would have had a coach like me that was kind of young and cool and played. So I really loved that connection and I just fell in love. It's not something I ever thought I'd do. Joan asked me to do it twice in my pro career, was like, I'm not doing that. And I just did it and I loved it. I love it. It's like, it's my calling.
It is your calling. It's certainly evident now. It's interesting when you look back and you mentioned a lot of the ingredients that you've had your entire career that now you put together to be an extraordinary coach and mentor to the players and people that you interact with and lead today. I'm curious, you mentioned that you didn't love the broadcasting piece and you talked about a couple of those reasons.
I did. I liked it.
You did like it a lot.
I didn't feel a part of like
The team, the competition.
well, and I was used to being like the competition, the team. I was used to that environment. So I think with broadcasting, you kind of just go and come. You like go to a practice, you don't really dive in. So that's why I loved broadcasting with the team. So when I did the color for the Storm and I travel with them, I love that because I was a part of it still.
That was what you said was you're living your best life.
Yeah, it was fun. I was traveling with my best friends. I was getting paid. I was talking about the sport, and I was playing pro in Europe. But I felt like a part of the team because I was still on the bus. I was still a part of it. When I just did TV, I would like fly there and then leave. So it wasn't, for me, it wasn't as fun. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Do you think that there are things that either, even subconsciously, were there things that you picked up on during your time as a broadcaster that you infuse into your coaching today?
Absolutely. I think it's actually really helped me become a better coach because it was interesting. I was really close to the players. So I knew all the dirt, everything. I always like, okay, don't talk about that. Like, you act like you don't know that because I was talking all the time. But I got to, and I was close to the coaches. So it was interesting, like hearing the stuff that they thought sometimes, being there with the coaches, like knowing, being like they both would confide in me. And then just seeing like, wow, their perspectives. And this is why they feel that way. I think that helped me understand more. And then also see how hard coaching was. Because it was challenging. And in the pros, it's really hard. But I think that made me better. Just kind of being like, okay, this is what they feel. This is why they feel that way. And it is pros. It's very different. But I think it has helped me coach.
All right, everyone. We'll get back to the conversation momentarily. But first, I want to tell you about my free weekly email newsletter, Tarp Pullers. Each week, I share an uplifting and inspirational tarp pulling story that is sure to brighten your day. And I also highlight some of the most powerful ideas I've learned on my journey talking to 200 and counting of the world's top performers. The newsletter is short, concise, and a reader recently told me this. She said it makes her day every time it hits her inbox. Go to everybodypullsthetarp.com/newsletter to sign up today. In what area would you say you've evolved the most as a coach over the past 10 years?
When I first started coaching, as an assistant coach, I was a little bit older. I was 30 years old. I wasn't like 20. So I had already been well-rounded in basketball. I had been coached by a lot of great people, so knew basketball. But I think what I wasn't good at when I first became a head coach was, first of all, I didn't think I was ready. But one of the people that really nudged me and pushed me was this woman by the name of Rocky LaRose. She's like a famous longtime administrator. She was like the first administrator to do football, men's basketball in the country years ago. And she was like, Adia, do you think I was ready when I did that? She was like, you're never ready. And I was like, oh, I had just had a baby and stuff. So I tried it. But when you first start, I don't think you're ever totally ready unless you're a 30-year assistant because you don't know like how to build a program yet. It's different being involved as an assistant, but like building it from the beginning, implementing your style. What is that style? So you go off of how you played and stuff, right? And what you learned from your coaches. But what does that look like? What does that look like building it from scratch? Running a whole year of the implementation of everything. It was just so different. So I think I've gotten better in the sense I was getting my ass kicked left and right by Tara Vanderveer, Scott Bruick.
A lot of people got their asses kicked by Tara.
Well, but it was just, I was coaching against some really good coaches. And I was the only coach that went straight from being an assistant coach for only 5 years, straight to a Pac-12 head coach. So if you looked at me compared to all the other coaches, they all started at lower levels for like 10 years, and then they went to the Pac-12. I went straight from 5-year assistant to the Pac-12 as a head coach. So it was challenging. And I've gotten a lot better just, I think from just failing and just from like, oh God, they got me on this, this, and this. And just learning how to manage a game better, learning from some mistakes I've made early. And I'm telling you, I've had my biggest growth the last 3 years. I'm way better now just because I've had to deal with some stuff that I never thought I'd deal with. It's made me pivot a little bit. It's made me reset. And this job has really revitalized me. I got to a point where like, do I want to get out of college? Like, I'm done with this. And it's really gave me a resurgence of energy, enthusiasm, and I'm really driven and I'm more focused now than I've ever been.
The energy is just oozing through the camera here, Adia, and I can just feel the energy. And again, it goes back to that alignment that we were talking about a few minutes ago and just all the fulfillment that you're feeling in the early days of taking on the reins here at SMU. I'm curious, when you think about now building the program at SMU, You had a lot of success at your alma mater as a head coach, took them to places that they hadn't been in a long, long time. Talk about kind of what the Adia Barnes program looks like at SMU. What are the types of things that are the fundamental non-negotiables in the way you're going to go about your business?
I think for me, it was really important. I struggled a little bit the last couple of years because it gave me a reset. There were some things early that like I didn't take for granted, but like I expected to be that good. Like I didn't know if I didn't honestly expect, okay, in 4 years are we go to the national championship game? No. But I knew before I was done coaching, we were going to do something like that. I didn't know what, but I knew something special. I knew I was going to work. I knew I was going to do things the right way. But after that, it was a little bit challenging. I anticipated and expected to stay at the top. And so because I thought, okay, I can recruit, I can coach, I can teach, I'm a good person. But it was just really hard. I think it was really hard after we got good. Then just had some pieces that weren't so great. Then didn't have the right coaching staff and just made some mistakes that I look back, I won't make those mistakes now in year 9. And so I think for me, the right people, I don't need 10 McDonald's All-Americans. I had to reset and go back to just not taking somebody because they're 5-star, somebody because they're 6-star, somebody because whatever. And just going back to these blue collar, hardworking, athletic, like good people that like have that same vision and a fire that I have. And I think I went away from that a little bit. And some of that's by default because you get good, the best players want to play for you. And I think that wasn't how we won. When I look back, Erie was not a top 50 kid. Recruited Kelsey Plum at Washington. She was not a top 20 kid. She was a kid with this intrinsic motivation that was like the friends that I used to watch, Lauren Jackson, Super, Diana Taurasi, that was a motherfucker that was like tough, driven, like knew what they wanted. And that's how we won. We won with role players that had that drive. We didn't win with 7, McDonald's All-Americans. So I think resetting, going back to that, and just having the right people around me. And then that goes back to bringing your staff. I felt like at times stuff happens fast. And when you don't have the right people around you, it's not all about talent. I'd rather have someone less talented that's going to be loyal, that's going to have my back when stuff hits the fan versus someone who's a little more skilled that's not loyal. So I think those things, and I feel like I have the right people around me. I have an AD that I love and that really like looks me in the eyes like, I'm going to support you. And to me, like that, like we're going to be successful because of that, because I'm going to run through a wall for him and the president. And I'm not just saying it's not about the money. It's not about that. It's about someone having that belief in me like Joan had for me at Arizona, like Greg Bird had for me when he hired me, when I probably wasn't ready. And so for those are more valuable. So we're going to be successful. And it's just a matter of time. And I truly feel that.
You've talked a number of times here in our conversation about learning from mistakes. And I'm curious just to dig into that a little bit more. Everybody makes mistakes. And one of the common through lines that I have found through so many of the conversations that I've had with the world's top performers in any craft is that the best performers in any craft find a way to learn from mistakes. What is your process for processing, digesting, and ultimately learning from mistakes? Does it happen quick for you? Or is it something that needs to marinate for a long time?
Both. It depends. I think it's both for me. I think all of us are super hard on ourselves. We're critical of what we do. I don't feel like I've done anything yet. Yeah, we've had some success, but okay, and we didn't win a national championship. Like Gino's won 11. So for me, it's I don't really feel like I've done anything yet. And I just feel like there's so much to do. There's so many things that I can impact. And I'm never going to probably win enough games, but I really feel like I want to win. But I don't want to win at all costs. I want to win the right way with the right people, doing my very best. And to me, it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. If I'm supposed to win national championships, I'll win them. But I know in my heart that while I'm doing what I love, I'm doing it the right way. I'm graduating kids. And this sounds cliche, but I'm helping them be prepared, teaching them lessons that they're going to come back in 15 years and think, even if I get on their nerves now, helping them grow as young women to impact people in the sport later. So for me, and I think when you're a good person and you're aligned and you're doing the right things, I think that those things come to you. It may not come to you in championships, but I don't think you're not going to have success. I think we're going to win games. Now, how much, I don't know. I have to be good and I have to coach them up. But I think that we can be successful. When I looked at taking this job, there wasn't anything that was a negative besides the humidity in Texas and the big trucks that drive crazy. But everything else it was a beautiful place. It was an amazing degree. It's this community that's really close knit, which I felt like I'm like that. So I felt like we have all the resources. We have support from your president and AD. So like, what else do I need? So I think with all of that, we should be successful. And now it's my job to learn from the mistakes, get the right type of people. And I can recruit in Dallas and be successful at SMU. There is so much talent down the street. I've never had that. So I feel like I have all the tools here to be successful. Now, hopefully we're not on a podcast in a couple of years, like what happened.
We're not going to be
talking about you did great. I'm like, I hope. But
Well, the one thing that's almost a certainty is that everything is not going to go as planned in any endeavor. So I'm curious, like, what have you learned about adapting when things don't go as planned? How do you do that as a leader?
It's hard. So you had to reset. So the first thing is, obviously, I didn't plan on going to national championship and losing by one basket. But I think that you have to self-evaluate. You have to love the hard stuff because it's very hard. Winning is hard. Like, we can all talk. The best coaches are the ones on their couch watching TV and giving input. But when you're in those shoes, it's very hard. And a lot of things have to be right. The stars have to line to win and stuff. So I think that when you make mistakes, which I do all the time, you have to learn from them. You have to get better. So whether that's a staffing thing, whether that's, the style of play you had, what the type of kids you recruit, you have to evaluate that stuff all the time. You have to be honest. And I think one thing I'm good at is knowing what my strengths are, knowing what my weaknesses are, and getting better. I don't always only look at my bright spots like, oh, I've arrived. I have to get better. So like getting better at something every year and improving on something. And for me, looking back, this was the reset that I needed. Me coming here with this new motivation, I was flat. And I was flat. I was a little frustrated. I was the last couple of years. And I felt stuck a little bit. And so I had to figure out a way, and I was going to figure it out. I was actually figuring it out, how to not be somewhere. If I'm not happy and I'm not like feeling my best, I'm not going to be successful because I'm not good on edge. I'm not good in the gray area. I'm just not. We're all control freaks. We want to know. So I want to know what I'm doing, where I'm at. I'd rather you tell me I suck and this is what I got to get better at than just like BS me. So like just be in a space where you're supported, loved, because I'm going to work hard and do all those things. So the energy, the synergy, and all those things have to be right for me. And I'm like, that's not for everybody. Some people it's the money. Some people it's the whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. I care about the right situation where we can win. I'm coaching. I want to win. I'm not just coaching to like sign a 5-year contract, make this money. Like I'd rather take way less money, win and do things, have fun, or else why am I coaching? I have other skills. So I think giving myself the best chance to build this program. So for me, what I love about SMU and what I love is that people think I can't build it here, just like they thought I couldn't build it there. I love the fact we had 167 season ticket holders. To me, I love that. And I love the fact that now I'm challenged to see what I can do here. So I want to show that we're going to do it. And so that's a process. So evaluating what my process is, how I can do it, figuring out a plan and just being strategic about it. I like that stuff. I want to in 5 years say, dang, she went to Arizona. They had a couple hundred season tickets. SMU is even worse. They had 167. Now they're selling out Moody with 7,000. Now they're kicking ass because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what I'm here to do. That's why he hired me.
You're here to develop people, win championships, and build community and connection.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most beautiful parts of sports that I think people often forget, that it's a community and it's about connection. I'm so fascinated by this idea that you specifically pick one thing each year to really focus on. Is that something that you've always done? Was that something, again, that just kind of happened by accident? Is it always kind of like just one main thing that you're focused on?
Not one main thing, but it's a thing that I feel affects everything else. So like for me, it was really important to reset, get the type of kids I wanted to recruit, wanted to coach. If I didn't feel really good about a certain situation, not just saying, oh, okay, I can make it work. Because I always think I could change everybody. And I think that I can like save the world. And it's like, that's not the reality. So I think that making sure I'm getting the right people, the right I want to coach, loving my team in my locker room. So that has to be the right people that are aligned with me. Because if I'm an extrovert and like, this is what I like team stuff, I like chemistry, I like bonding. If I go get all these like type A introverts, it's probably not a good mix, not for them or me. So getting the right kids that like align with me, that have this vision, that are hungry, maybe they're a little under the radar, like kind of resetting to that and just having the right staff around me, the right people, and not compromising that ever. Not because they know this player, not because of this, not compromising that. And then I think I pick a couple things to focus on. It's usually not one thing. And then making sure that's right because I know me, then the other stuff falls into place the way it's supposed to. So controlling what I can control. And then like when things are hard, like I don't care that they have 167 fans. I don't care that they weren't good. Like, I don't care.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. And that's fun. There's always opportunity to improve.
What advice would you give to someone who's listening, who feels stuck in something that they're doing right now, and they're trying to figure out whether they stick it out or they do something different?
Yeah, so I think figuring out what the most important things are to you. So like for me, there were certain things that are more important. Like my happiness is more important than anything. Like, and my happiness doesn't come from monetary. It's not, the money doesn't make me happy. And I think that like, what is the most important thing to you? Is it like making the money, or is it winning, or is it being in a great city? Like for me, like when I have my family, that I lived in Russia, Ukraine, Portugal, where there was more cows than people. Like, I don't care. So when I have my people, when I have my tribe, I can live anywhere. I can do whatever. I just happen to be in an amazing place. But like, what are the non-negotiables, the important things for you? And I think as a women's basketball coach, you have to have the support of your president and your AD. If you don't have that, or if you are aligned with them, and it's okay, like sometimes the alignment's off. If you aren't aligned with them, it's going to be very hard to be successful because you're not going to get the support you need. And you're not going to I think you also have to be aligned with your leader. If I don't feel that Damon's doing all the right things and stuff, I probably don't have alignment. So for me, that's not the right place. And so I realize those are important. So when you feel stuck, you have to think about what's the most important things that make you happy. Because if you're not happy, it's affecting all the things you do. You're not going to be your best as a coach or as your job. You're not going to be happy, so that's going to affect your team. So I think that all those things matter. And then you just do your best. You like go for it. You're not afraid to I'm not afraid to go the way I am. Like, I'm not afraid to take a half of a pay cut. I don't care. Like if it comes to my happiness and someone that's like, let's go, I got your back, let's grow this together, I would rather take half the money somewhere. But that's how I am. So I think that what's the most important thing to you? Why are you doing it? And why are you doing it? If you're not really happy and you need to change, you have to change. You have to be happy. And you have to fill your bucket, or else you're not going to be your best. And what is aligned with that happiness?
Very, very well said, Coach. As we get ready to wrap up our conversation today, and I could ask you questions for hours, literally hours, but as we get ready to wrap up today's conversation, I am curious, when you think real deeply about who you are as a person and as a leader, where do you think your work ethic, where do you think your grit, determination really comes from?
It's funny. I think about that a lot. I do have a lot of grit and I am really driven. And I think looking back, I think that came from my mom. And a lot of people I know that sounds I got it from mom, but my mom's this little Italian lady from Chicago she's a dog. And I never understood she was a dog. She is a go-getter, a worker. She's always you fall on your face, you get back up. She's super tough. And I was very, very close to her. So my mom and dad divorced when I was 3 or 4. My dad was an NFL player. My mom met him. Divorced when I was little, so my mom raised us. And this is back years ago. My mom raised these 3 biracial kids. And it was not easy. They were talking in the 70s. So that was hard. But she's just tough, driven, really works hard. She works hard, just doesn't take no for an answer. She's very calculated and has a plan. So I think I've gotten a lot of things from my resiliency for sure. I'm not afraid to fail at all. If I come here, do my best and I fail, dang, it's on to the next one. It's not the right thing. It's not the right thing for me. I go somewhere else. And I think the door is open that's right for me. So I never thought I'd leave Arizona. This was the right situation open for me. So I believe in that alignment. I believe in that synergy, that energy, and being a good person. And she's always taught me you have to serve and you have to give. And I think that when you give, it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. And that was emulated through her. But I think her work ethic and her mentality is a separator. And I think I'm a very tough person. I've had like miscarriages, like coach the next day. I've had like some big time adversity that I look back, I'm like, I don't know how I did that. Like there's some stuff that I've done in my career. I'm like, I don't know how I've done that. I don't know what made me be able to do that. Looking back, I'm like, how did I survive that? But it's like, I've learned it's hard. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sit here and cry. Am I gonna figure out a plan to do it? So I think I've learned to really love the hard stuff. It's okay. It's going to be hard. It's like worth it when it's hard. And then just figure out a way to get through it and put my big girl panties on, straighten up my crown, and like figure it out. And I was at that point in Arizona. I was down. I told you my crown was crooked. And I was like, okay, what I can be here and be mad, or I can figure out a plan of what I'm going to do and the plan I'm going to take for me to be happy. And then I think things happen for a reason when you do that. And this opportunity came and I couldn't pass it up.
Coach, I have had so much fun digging into your story and learning more about your career and what makes you tick and your leadership philosophies and success secrets. There is no question in my mind that you are a certified tarp puller. You live the everybody pulls the tarp mindset in everything that you do. And in just those stories that you shared about your mom, it's evident that she has had such an extraordinary impact on you. And those are ideas and philosophies and mindsets that you are passing on to your players and everybody around your program. This has been so much fun. I have learned so much from you. We'll have to do a part 2 again sometime. All right, Coach?
Well, after we get a couple wins under our belt and some more season tickets,
Get some wins under your belt, some more season ticket holders. I know you're going to do it. I can't wait to watch all the success you have at SMU. Thank you for spending some time with me this week. All right, Coach?
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me this week. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so you can catch all of our upcoming episodes. And if you are like me and want a world full of tarp pullers, then leave a review to help others find us. You can also follow me on Instagram at AndrewMoses123 and sign up for my email newsletter at everybodypullsthetarp.com/newsletter. I'll share tips and insights to help you achieve maximum success and happiness. Until next time, keep pulling the tarp.